So tell us a little bit about what is it you do at the Philly Project?
Yeah.
Like what um I don't know. How do you get projects to work on? Obviously it's to help people, but
Yep.
tell us a little more. Give us a broader picture of what's going on there.
Yeah. All right. So for everybody who kind of can picture the model of groups going on mission trips and serving, that's the model we live in. So we host groups coming to serve in our city. And we do it with the purpose of meeting immediate needs in our community, connecting those who are not yet of the church to the church, but also equipping those who are coming to serve to begin to see opportunities to serve when they get back home. That's a big part of what we aim for. Um, and then from that model, from serving in those capacities, the question of like how do you not run out of work? How do you find out who you're going to serve? Because we do home repair, we do other things as well. But the fun of that is we've advertised twice since 2010. Once was in 2010 when we started. When we said yes to opening the organization, we partnered with a church in Mount Airy, and the pastor there, we said to the pastor, like, how can we serve you best? And they said, hey, the pastor said, would you help us to meet our neighbors? We said, sure. And she said, we're having a community day. Maybe you could set up a booth out front of our church. And we're like, sure. And so, having had no thoughts of this prior, we took a piece of paper and I wrote down one question on it. It said, how can I help? How can we help? And I put my cell phone number on it. And we took 100 sheets of paper and handed them out at Mount Airy Day in 2010, May of 2010.
That's awesome.
And we didn't advertise again until 1 year ago, right now. Which means that everybody we served from May of 2010 until let's say spring of 2024, everybody we served came from those first 100 flyers or a connection thereof. And so we went out and served our neighbors. So we got our first phone call, and it was from this family who they said, hey, would you come take a look at our house? We've got building projects that we could use help with. And we said, of course, yeah, sure. That's how we got involved in home repair. We didn't really know what we were going to do. We were just going to help people who weren't of the church and help them to discover who the church is. And we were going to meet practical needs, whatever that meant. And so we got to their house, and they showed us into their kitchen, and their kitchen had fallen into disrepair. And we said, oh, yeah, we could do this. And so we ripped out their kitchen and put a new kitchen in. And we thought we were going there for the purpose of doing kitchen work with them. But while we were there, we found out that the homeowner had been diagnosed with a brain tumor. And we found ourselves in pastoral care settings where every youth director who was coming in was getting to sit with this homeowner who was wrestling through like, hey, I just found out I have a brain tumor. And then fast forward through the summer, get into the fall, and I had the opportunity to drive down to Johns Hopkins and sit with her husband as she's in surgery.
Wow.
And, and for the next 5 years after that, we stayed in deep intentional relationship because we fixed a kitchen in their house,
Yeah.
And it was through that they found their way back into the life of the church and got plugged into a local church and served as deacons and elders in the local church and found themselves in a situation where they're thriving again. And that all happened simply because, they answered the question that I asked on a piece of paper was, how can we help? And we all thought the answer was fix our kitchen. But God had such a bigger plan than that.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
How that works out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can't script it. You can't script it. You never would. And yet He's got this divine plan. It's just when it unwraps, you're like, wow.
Yeah,
you,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think we often think that we know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But it turns out it's always like it's either like a complete God's like, no, I brought you here because I want you to go do this, or I brought you here to do this, but I've got some other things that you need to help me with here too. And I've seen that over the years in mission work where we've gone to and done that. So
yeah,
I appreciate that, hearing that, because I think people need to know that. Well, I guess where I want to go with that is, I think we need to be aware of what God's going to do. And not limit ourselves, be like this.
That's right.
But just realize there could be more opportunities, and we need to be aware of that too.
Yep.
So with that in mind too, I want to ask the question.